What's going on, guys? Samuel1worldreviews here, back with another ranking for you guys. Today, I'm here to rank all 7 films in the Conjuring Universe. Conjuring Universe has been definitely a very interesting franchise, and it can be good or bad however you interpret it, but we do have some movie franchise, so I figured why not rank the films, honestly. I thought it'd be fun to do. So, hope y'all enjoy this ranking, and people let me know where will be your ranking, how would you pick all 7 movies from The Conjuring to Annabelle, Conjuring 2, Annabelle Creation, The Nun, The Curse of La Llorona, and of course the most recent one, Annabelle Comes Home. Let me know how much you rank all 7 movies in the comment section down below. Hope y'all enjoy this ranking. And not beyond the bush, let's get started. At the very bottom, dead last, number 7, Annabelle. Like, why was there a reason to make a film like Annabelle in the first place, honestly? Like, okay, this film really isn't that good. Like, in fact, it's kind of pretty bad, honestly. Like, it's not one of the worst horror films ever. Like, I've seen worse horror movies, but it's an all-around pretty bad and lackluster movie with pretty lackluster acting, terrible and stupid characters, pointless scares that was just scares lack tension, scares that are just painfully obvious, a story that's painfully uninteresting. Like, I don't know if anybody asked about Annabelle set up immediately after The Conjuring, but it ended up being so the worst of this franchise, and this Annabelle in the film is just bad, boring, characters are terrible. Like, it's not very much fully saying about this movie that hasn't already been said. Like, again, it's not as bad. I don't think it's as bad as it's like a terrible movie, but it's still pretty bad. And number 6, we have The Curse of La Llorona. This is definitely the most forgettable one in the franchise. Like, I don't really remember anything about this movie. Like, I do remember like Carnani being good and being the only interesting character. But other than that, in terms of scares, it's pretty predictable. Like I said, it overuses a lot of jump scares, which makes the film painfully unscary. A lot of the kills aren't interesting. The story is really interesting. Like, there's really not much I got to say about this movie. Like, don't really remember much about this movie. This is definitely the most forgettable franchise. Probably one of the most forgettable horror movies I've seen in quite some time. Not saying something. And number 5, we have The Nun. Now, the story about The Nun actually was a very interesting idea, and the premise is definitely a very interesting one. Unfortunately, the stuff they're trying to go for here, like, again, I can see what they're trying to do here. The stuff they're doing is very interesting. It's just in terms of execution, yeah, it's pretty lackluster, honestly. Like, that thing is actually pretty good. Like, there are some good aspects to it, especially some of the music choices and some of the feels they're trying to go for, and even some of the designs is actually pretty good. Again, like previous 2 movies, the films just end up wasting on a lot of jump scares. The scares are pretty lackluster, the characters are painfully uninteresting, and the nun is painfully underused in the whole movie. Like, I really want to like this movie, and I was kind of disappointed, honestly. At number 4 is the most recent one, Annabelle Comes Home. Now, I just recently did my review of Annabelle Comes Home, so you can check that review if you haven't, but again, I just thought the movie was just alright, but it's definitely probably the most disappointing film of this franchise. Honestly, because there was literally so much potential and so much stuff that kind of went for here, and just to go through deep, it just ended up being your basic generic horror movie. Like, it's definitely better than the previous movies I mentioned. And there are some good moments here, and the acting is great, honestly. Again, jump scares! Jump scares! Like, seriously, I think we're all sick of it at this point, honestly. I think we're all sick of jump scares at this point, honestly. Like, I don't know why people are doing it, but that pretty much what brings the movie down so much is because of the jump scares, and that's pretty unfortunate. Again, the acting is great, some aspects are pretty interesting, and the costume visual design is actually pretty interesting. I just really wish I liked this movie. I really want to like this movie, honestly, and end up being pretty disappointing. But then we not get to the movies that are actually good. I mean, it's 3, but it's right nothing at least. But anyways, coming number 3, we have Annabelle Creation. the actual good Annabelle movie, honestly, and an actual good prequel to the first movie. Like, but this movie was actually pretty good, actually. Like, it definitely isn't the best horror movie out there, but it's definitely a pretty scary and fun house ride. Like, I do like some aspects they go through here. The two main actresses I thought were pretty great here, and I thought the characters were actually pretty interesting. Some of the scares I thought were pretty interesting, and they're actually kind of scary, and there's a lot of fun, there's a lot of enjoyment to be had here. Like, I actually haven't seen this movie since I saw it back in 2017 now, and I meant to rewatch this before doing this ranking, but I do remember this movie being pretty good, and I don't think it was fully entirely scary, but I do remember having a blast with this movie. I do remember being good, scary, fun, the music was great, the cinematography was gorgeous, some of the stuff they're trying to do here that was great, so yeah, definitely an actual good Annabelle movie, and definitely a good prequel to a movie that was pretty bad. Like, definitely interesting in terms of like horror prequels actually being better. Like, yeah, one a Ouija, now we have an Annabelle. Like, again, pretty good actually. Not gonna lie. At number 2, we have The Conjuring 2. The Conjuring 2 is basically the definition of a horror sequel done right. Like I wish more horror sequels really follow the greatness of The Conjuring 2. Like, it pretty much builds on a lot of what makes the first one so great. It managed to be even scarier, more frightening, and even builds a lot more on the characters and the mythology, and it works incredibly well here. This film is actually scary and actually tense. Not mentioning the film actually builds on a lot of the characters, especially Patrick Wilson and Vera Minga's character, especially how they build on Anna Lorraine here. They actually build a lot on the relationship and how it can really actually has an effect on a lot of them who they are, and it actually is pretty interesting. It leads to some pretty good emotional moments actually. But the film is still pretty scary and pretty terrifying at some points, not gonna lie. I mentioned Master Wolf was actually pretty great here, and her storyline was pretty interesting. The cinematography was great, the designs were great. Like, there's so much to love. Again, this is basically what a horror sequel really should be, and I really wish more horror sequels really followed the amazement that is The Conjuring 2. But for me personally, the first Conjuring is still the best in this franchise. This is not the best franchise, it's also one of the best horror movies of the decade. I mean, I could say the same for the second one, but this is definitely a true fantastic movie. Not mentioning those are the horror movies don't really do too much and actually feels real, and actually a lot of stuff happy this movie can actually happen in real life. And that's, like I said, I'm always referencing a lot of movies that feel real, and that's what the first two Conjuring movies I could see that so very well. Not mention Patrick Wilson and Vera Minga deliver phenomenal performances, and you really do feel the chemistry between these two actors. And you guys got Joe King here, who's actually great here. And to mention, it actually does what horror movies do, and really build scares and build up tension, and when scares happen, you don't see it coming. Like, James Wan is a master craft in the horror genre. He succeeds with these movies. Like, again, James Wan is just a very amazing director in terms of the horror genre. Like, he actually does what horror films actually are. He does what horror actually should accomplish, and that's scare the audience and make them feel tension. And it succeeds at that so amazingly. Not mentioning also got some beautiful designs. The set designs are definitely great. The cinematography is great. The music is great. There's just so much to love about the first Conjuring movie, and it might only be in 7 movies, it's still the best of this franchise, and but most likely will be the best of this franchise. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed my ranking of all 7 Conjuring movies. People let me know in the comments down below how would you rank all 7 of these movies from what's the best. Let's have a live discussion, comments. I'll let know how would you rank all these movies. So, and I have a lot more videos coming very soon, so be on the lookout for that. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I honestly really do appreciate. If you haven't already, be sure to like this video, be sure to share, be sure to subscribe, be sure to follow all my social media sites. All links are down below. I am Stardust-oneworld from Stardust-oneworldreviews. I'll see you next time, and as always, stay cooler. Everybody, peace.